And it is a pleasure to be here with all of you and to share our government's message at your very important conference. And I want to give a shout out to Pina Dentino. Yes, thank you, Pina. She made sure this stayed on my calendar, and I'm very appreciative of that. She also sits on the, my Minister's Accessibility Standards Advisory Council to advise us on the implementation of our legislation. So thanks, Pina. And before I continue, I do want to acknowledge and recognize the long history of First Nations, Métis, and Inuit in Ontario, and give special acknowledgement to the Mississaugas of the New Credit. And I want to thank all of you for the very important work you do to promote inclusive workforces. As Ontario's first ever Minister for Accessibility, on behalf of the Ontario government, I just want to say thank you, because partners like you are so vital to the work we do to build up Ontario and create an accessible province by 2025. I don't know if our signer can do French, so I'm going to continue in English. Je pense, oui. So, yeah, English. We have a vision, a province that is accessible for everyone, where people with disabilities thrive in rewarding jobs and careers, and one where people with disabilities can contribute to Ontario's prosperity and economic growth. It's a win-win for everyone. When everyone has the opportunity to fully participate in the economy, it strengthens our communities, it strengthens our businesses and bottom lines, and it strengthens our global and competitive edges. So that's the big picture about why hiring people with disabilities is a smart thing to do. And I like to think too, and this is just my personal take on this role I have, is that we are on a continuum of all abilities, right? That's how I see things, and I think that's the way the world should see things as well. And when it comes to employment, I don't have to tell you that it's really a story often of an untapped potential, an untapped labor pool. And we also know Ontario is facing a growing skills shortage in the key areas of our economy. The Conference Board of Canada says Ontario could face a shortfall of more than 360,000 workers by 2025. That's a lot of workers. And statistics show that unemployment rates for people with disabilities are much higher than the average, and people with disabilities have the expertise, the skills, and the knowledge to get the job done. In fact, a study found that 90% of people with disabilities scored average or better on job performance. Yet, we all know they can be easily overlooked. You know, as employers, how much your teams can be enriched by hiring people with disabilities. A lot of companies, and I'm confident many of them are here today, are already setting important examples for Ontario businesses. As a government, we want to acknowledge you, and we want you to know we can't do it without you. And let's take a look at IBM as an example. They have a chief accessibility officer to help the company tap into the incredible talent that people with disabilities offer. They are leveraging technology to ensure all employees are able to contribute their full potential. Part of their motivation for creating the role of chief accessibility officer in 2014 was demographics. And as you know, IBM is a global company. And they acted on a key insight. Across the globe, there are more than 1 billion people with disabilities. That's a demographic that's just too large for anyone to ignore, potential employees and potential customers. And what better way to develop new accessible technologies like text-to-speech and voice recognition tools than by recruiting people who could benefit most from such products to work on them. So it just makes good business sense. We know, I know, our government knows how important it is to build an inclusive workforce. And I'm trying at the legislature. I just want to tell you that too. We got work to do. Here in Ontario, of course, we have our legislation, which is very much leading edge legislation and a platform to build on. And it's hard to believe that that legislation, the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act, is now 11 years old. 11, yeah, for those of you, who's around for that when it, yeah, 11 years, congrats. So it helps set standards that we're working on to implement in the municipal, business, and not-for-profit areas. And last year, to mark the halfway point on our journey to an inclusive Ontario for 2025, we released an accessibility action plan. It outlines some of the steps we're taking to increase accessibility in 3 key areas: the law, employment, and culture. But of course, there's more action required on the way. Right now, and something I'm very excited about, is we are busy finalizing a provincial employment strategy for people with disabilities. It will connect more people with disabilities to tailored training and more employers to a talented labor pool. I mean, that's what we've talked about for years, right? The untapped labor pool, where are those jobs? The employer's saying, where are those people? I think the slogan up there, accessibility is an afterthought, speaks to that, and the importance of making those connections from an employment point of view. So stay tuned for our employment strategy. I'm very, very excited about the work we're developing and the feedback we've been getting on that in terms of where to focus, whether it's on youth or employers leading as example, including government, and how to make our employment systems better integrated. And it will help get training specific to the specific needs and abilities and aspirations of people at every stage of their career. And the strategy will help more businesses and organizations like you to effectively recruit, hire, and include more people with disabilities in your workforce at every stage of their career. And I want to take lessons. I want to take lessons from employers who've been doing a tremendous job. And we want employers to see just how much they can benefit from the insights offered by people with disabilities. And employers here today, of course, know how to do that. Because we know it's not simply a legal obligation, but an exciting business opportunity and community building opportunity. And it's one thing to hear from our government and from me, but really the employers and the real world success that you have to share is critical. It's absolutely critical, because no government can achieve inclusion by working in isolation. So together, we all need to show leadership and to help others view accessibility as inclusion, an exciting call to action. So I encourage you to help us spread the word and to keep turning those words into deeds that help champion this important movement. So thanks again for your commitment to advancing accessibility. Working together, we will build an Ontario with more social and economic opportunities for people of all abilities. Merci, miigwech. Thank you.